I don't normally operate like this, doing exposés on folks online, but I know James Goddard. I know him. Not personally, but I was there back in the day in the same Telegram and Facebook groups, so I know him from a distance online, and I know what was said about his personal life back in the day and what he actually said. I know all this. So give me a few moments, and by the time you've finished with this, you'll look at James in a completely different light. I know what he's about. Like I say, I don't normally do this. I'm only doing this because of his mean-spirited comments online. He comes across as really bitter, mean and nasty. Let's make sure you know who James Goddard is. Let's focus on this tweet that sprung me into action. So this is the reason why I've got involved. I'm in now. I'm in the game. James, get ready for a dose of truth. Firstly, this Balraj geezer, in my opinion, you're wrong. Let me tell you, let me explain. The common thought, I know the common thought, the common narrative is that James's ex is half Pakistan and half white. Let me tell you why I don't believe this. Why I don't believe that she's half. In my opinion, she's full. She's full. 100% Pakistani. Or Asian, whatever you want to say. Let me explain. So originally, when this news broke online in the Facebook or Telegram groups, like I say, the exact details are a bit hazy, and I don't have any screenshots. But you're just gonna have to take my word for it. And if James is honest, he should admit to this, right? So I distinctly recall when this news first broke out, when people started saying, "Oh, your ex is Pakistan," right? His first response was, she told him she was Portuguese. So his response was he didn't know. He didn't know that his ex-girlfriend was Asian. He thought she was Portuguese because she told him she was Portuguese. So effectively, he's saying that she lied to him. She conned him. Which is odd, right? Why would you lie to James Goddard in order to get into a relationship or stay in a relationship with James Goddard, right? It doesn't make sense. But that was his original response. Now, I've been to Portugal, and some of you viewers or listeners may well be living on the Algarve as expats. So let me tell you, I've never thought, and I know that you lads on the Algarve, you've never thought when you're in Portugal that you're in Bangalore, Delhi, Kabul, or Leicester when it comes to Portugal. I've never confused Portuguese people for Asians. After that, James Goddard put forward the narrative that she was mixed, half English and half Pakistan. I don't buy it myself. James is just not a reliable source of information, even when it comes to himself. I know him. Just search the Three Boys in Haze and the narrative that he spun around that. He tried to pin the drunk driver as some sort of Muslim terror guy, right? When in fact he was a Hindu drunk driver. He's not reliable. He's not reliable at all. What he says just cannot be taken at face value. So what I'm saying here is he may well have been in a relationship with a full 100% Pakistan woman. So that's my theory, that potentially she's fully Pakistani or fully Asian, whatever you want to use, and he's just so embarrassed given his new direction of hate towards certain demographics that he doesn't want it out there, right? So he's just spun up some sort of narrative of initially being, telling him that she was Portuguese, i.e. she lied to him, and then the next one was, oh, she's mixed race, right? So I don't believe it. Right, I don't believe him. I don't know what to believe in this case. It's a big mess. It's a ball of confusion, and he's clearly got some issues. James Goddard's got some issues. Before I start talking about the Indian, yes, the Indian in James Goddard's family, I'm just going to move on to his next mean-spirited tweet that I just saw today. He's having a go at this English lad for being overweight who's converted. But I know James. James used to be overweight himself. I remember when the Tommy lads were beefing with him and they turned up to his gaff in the Manchester area and they took pictures of him topless because it was in the summer, early morning or whenever, and he was putting the rubbish out. They took pictures of him and they were all taking the mick. People were taking the mick out of him being overweight. And to say the least, he had a full belly back in those days. Obviously, I condemn that because that's very dishonourable. It's not really the British thing to do, to turn up to someone's house. But again, that's the pond James was swimming in back in those days. These so-called patriots, they're all kind of low-level individuals. Sad little lives are being lived online, where unimpressive guys from echo chambers end up beefing with each other. Let's play this English Muslim convert video. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if James is just hating on this lad because he seems happy. Happiness comes at a premium nowadays. A lot of people just don't have it, and I think James falls into that category, to tell you the truth.
All of your fast, your salahs and your good deeds. Hope you all enjoy your day and keep safe. And I've had a beautiful Ramadan. My wife has helped me massively. It's been my first proper Ramadan. I became a Muslim a year ago, near the end of Ramadan. So yeah, we've had a great time, and thank you all for the support.
So there you go. He seems quite happy. James may well just be a tad unhappy, a tad unjealous, because this lad has a Portuguese-looking lady, and James is having flashbacks to his earlier love of the Portuguese-looking woman. James actually uses the word brown, the descriptor brown, as an insult online. James, in reality, loves brown. Let me tell you something that you've never heard before. Not only did James have a brown baby mama, he was even on record back in the day of saying that his stepmother or his auntie was Indian. They're brown. Last time I checked, Indians are brown. It was something like that. You can ask him, and if he's honest, he will tell you that I'm on the right lines. I think it may have been his uncle's wife was Indian, or his stepmother or something was Indian. He did have an Indian woman in his family. So that's a bombshell, right? I've got more, lads. I've got more. So Ashley Simon. Let's talk about her. James dated Ashley Simon. That's Paul Golding's lass now. He's told us that she's actually Indian. So Ashley Simon has an Indian grandfather. So she's got Indian heritage. So for whatever reason, James just gravitates towards Indians and Pakistanis and brown people in general. There's something going on there. He's got some sort of magnetic connection to that type of person. Like I say, the exact details, they are quite fuzzy. I remember a stream where he just started dating Ashley, and they did a stream together, and James's mother was on the stream as well. So, James, you know I'm on the right lines. I'm not making any of this up, but I've got something else to say that is going to shock the world. Right, it's going to shock the pond that James swims in, that low-level pond that James swims in. So another shoe to drop is James allegedly worked for Asians in Leicester for a taxi firm, apparently Pakistani taxi firm. I think they said that he was the operator for a Pakistani taxi firm. I think that was coming from Glenn Saffers' camp online. I don't know whether James has denied this or not, but like I say, you could put this to James, and so hopefully he's honest enough to talk about it. So again, if this is true, put it all together. You can see why he's got resentment issues towards that convert guy with the Asian or Portuguese wife. That lad is happy. You can tell that he's happy. He looks like he's in love. His lady seems supportive and happy. Right? She's happy with him. She's supportive. He's got his woman, his Portuguese-looking woman, and he's got a community and friends. He's happy. That's a basic narrative here. But why is James peeing on this lad's parade? It's all because James, in my opinion, is jealous. He's got some sort of resentment here. Let's be honest. This lad is living in his own country, and he's happy, whilst James is not even living in his own country, never mind being happy. So what have we got here for James? We got a lot of brown. There's so much brown in James's life that he may as well change his name to James Brown. So James, we all know this is not something that's disputable. He's living in Thailand. Thailand, last time I checked, is a brown country. It's in Asia. It's not a small island off the coast of England. It's in Asia. Look it up if you don't believe me. And I won't be surprised if James has a Thai girlfriend or has hooked up with a Thai freelancer there. I would not be surprised at all. Now, James might say, "Oh, but when I was at the airport, they told me it's Portugal and I'm living amongst Portuguese people, not brown Thai Asian people." For James Brown, brown is the crown. Brown is the crown for James. Yeah, I do want to touch on the fact that he uses the word or the descriptor brown as an insult on Twitter, but he claims to be a Christian. So let's just use the common sense way of approaching this. What colour is Jesus? Brown. Jesus is brown. And if James is Church of England or follows a mainstream church tradition, he will be Trinitarian. The Trinitarian dogma teaches that Jesus is God. So God is a brown man for James, if that's James's tradition. Now, as someone who's interested in theology, I do want to stress that the Trinity ideology is false doctrine, is false ideology. It's not what Jesus actually believed. It's church doctrine that developed after Jesus. But the Church of England and the Catholic, and I also believe that the Orthodox tradition is that they accept the Trinity ideology as church dogma. So what does James actually believe? Ask him, lads, find out, put his feet to the fire, and don't allow him to push you about. Don't allow him to insult people and be mean and bitter towards you and others when we know that James is inconsistent. He's double-minded. There's a quote from the Bible that talks about double-minded people. It says that they are unstable in all their ways, and James is definitely unstable, I'll tell you that. Lastly, what I do want to do is highlight how he hates on people for traditional Eastern attire. He's like trolling an Asian woman here. Have a look at this tweet. Maybe he fancies her, I don't know. We do know that for James, brown is crown, so there you go. You've got a Portuguese-looking woman, and James is having a go at her. You know how, like, you're at school and you be mean to the girl that you fancy, right? And in reality, you fancy her, but you're being mean to her. There's some sort of psychological thing there, right? I think maybe James is doing the same thing here. He's trolling this Asian lass, and it could be a case of he just likes her. But let's get on to the Eastern dress, the gentleman's attire in this tweet. That's Eastern dress. That's similar to what Jesus and the apostles wore. So, James, are you a Christian here? Are you going to say the same thing about Jesus and the apostles? That's what people wore back in the day, long tunics. What do you think? What do you think Eastern Orthodox and church leaders wear? Also, what do you think medieval and earlier European men wore? They wore longer tunics. That's all this guy's wearing. He's just wearing a longer tunic. James just doesn't understand consistency as a standard. Like I say, he's double-minded. So don't allow him to manifest his insecurities and his bitterness on you online. Stand up, and he'll soon realise that he's actually venting and lashing out at happier people online because he's miserable and bitter. If his relationship with the Portuguese-looking woman, or the woman that told him, lied to him apparently, that she's Portuguese, if that had not broken down, would he really be here hating on people online? I wouldn't be surprised if that relationship carried on, that James now would be sitting back, right, on a sofa or settee, listening to some Bhangra music and eating a pakora, a samosa, and having a massive curry whilst watching India in the cricket and whilst wearing a long tunic.